In this video, I will be discussing how it's possible for Democrats to pass a fourth stimulus check before the end of this year, as well as how the next round of stimulus payments may go out to a smaller group of people. This is your daily news report and fourth stimulus check update. After the sending of the third stimulus check, personal income rose to $24.1 billion in March 2021. Since then, the figure has trended downwards, and in September, it hit $20.4 billion. One of the main factors driving the decrease was the ending of federal crisis-related unemployment benefit programs, which dropped from an average of 2% of personal income. As unemployment benefits ended, more than 8 million workers in the United States quit their jobs, providing new evidence that the benefits were not keeping people from re-entering the workforce. But still, nearly 30% of American adults had trouble paying usual household expenses as of early October. But still, nearly 30% of American adults had trouble paying usual household expenses as of early October. As the harm to the economy and livelihoods from this crisis continues till today, with prices up across the economy and the holiday season approaching, many people are hoping that Congress will pass another round of direct payments during the month of December. A fourth stimulus check could be included in the Build Back Better Act. The House of Representatives have already approved that they would extend the current structure of the child tax credit for at least one more year, providing some relief to American families. Changes to the value and distribution of the child tax credit were made under the American Rescue Plan. These alterations increased eligibility to 24 million children, and in July, the Internal Revenue Service began distributing monthly payments.
So on day one of the Biden administration, they started rolling out their plan for American energy to be able to raise prices for American consumers to drive people towards other energy sources that they've pre-selected. Day one, they announced they're going to stop the Keystone Pipeline, which is not just Canadian oil coming in, it's also coming in from Montana. They're going to stop leasing of federal lands, and they aggressively started doing the work behind the scenes to shut down the access to capital to anyone who wanted to be able to loan or give money to any entity that wants to expand pipelines. They put up the threat immediately about any permits, any regulatory help to be able to do anything with pipelines or expand anything with fossil fuels. John Kerry has recently announced that we're going to be done with coal by 2030, which may be a shock to a lot of folks that actually have coal-fired plants that are extended out for their life and amortization for the next 30, 40 years, that the administration is intentionally looking to be able to end that in 9 years. But it's not stopped with just raising the prices on the United States and on American citizens. Now they're trying to deal with the political consequences of what's going on. And so in a horrible foreign policy conversation, now Biden is talking about cutting off any kind of export of natural gas to any of our other countries. What will occur with that? They'll go to Russia to be able to get that natural gas, not to the United States, increasing dependence in Europe for Russia, which is a terrible geopolitical decision again. And it will put out the immediate threat that the Americans can't be trusted for energy policy, so don't trust them long term. The effect of that is raising the prices over there. It will continue to be able to hurt American producers that are here, and will continue to be able to kill American jobs and increase Russian jobs again, as this administration seems to be dead set in doing whatever it can to help the Russian economy with their pipelines and with their contracts in Europe, but hurting American producers at the same time. This is crushing the American economy in many ways, and it's crushing the American consumer. But it is absolutely by design to try to force people into using solar, wind, other things that are unreliable. Unless you think that this is just ended and it's just the
For each child under the age of 6, families receive $300, and for those between 6 and 17, a $250 payment is made. The last payment for 2021 will be made on December 15th, and the remaining value of the credit, which is half, will be paid when families file their taxes in the spring of 2022. Studies of the initial payments, which began in July, have reduced hardship for families with children, lifting 3 million children out of poverty. Researchers with the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities have also found that the vast majority of parents with low incomes are spending their child tax credit payments on basic necessities such as food, housing, utility bills, and education, which can help give their children a stronger start in life. Although the extension included in the Build Back Better Act is only for 1 more year, and not until 2025, as the White House had called for. The change making the tax provision fully refundable would become permanent. This will be a boost for low-income families who previously could not begin to claim the credit unless they earned income over $2,500 prior to the changes, which were made under the American Rescue Plan. What are your thoughts on the Build Back Better Act's relief provisions for Americans? Is it enough? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. President Biden's House passed $1.8 trillion for the Build Back Better bill, which promises to expand their social safety net for the poor. But its mostly costly provision is a tax cut for the wealthy, leaving divisions among Democrats. While many Democrats celebrated the passing of the historic bill, which now heads to the Senate, where the controversial state and local tax, or SALT as it's known, deduction cap could be up for the chopping block. In the bill's current form, taxpayers could deduct up to $80,000 in state and local taxes from their federal tax bill, which is up from the $10,000 cap put in place as a part of the former president's 2017 tax cuts. According to the Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center, middle-income households would get a tax break averaging $20. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told reporters during her weekly press conference, as a supporter of this particular measure in the bill, that's not about tax cuts for wealthy people. It's about services for the American people. After the bill's passing, Pelosi stated, "We will see where we need to, shall we say, reconcile our differences, but at the end of the day, we will have a great bill." Well, friends, that's the end of the video for tonight. Thank you so much